So, can you tell me about yourself?
So my name is Grace Plant, and I am one of the co-producers for Sketchy, which is being produced by myself and Thirsty Productions. And we are going up to Edinburgh Fringe this year. We are taking our first ever full sketch show up to Edinburgh.
Wow, that's. Have you sort of been to Edinburgh before?
So this will be my third year going and my second time producing something. So I'm a little bit more experienced this year. But I always find every year I go, I find something new or a different venue. So I'm still open to discovering the wonders.
Yeah, it's all very, very chaotic up there. I'm hopefully going. I don't know because I don't know with work and stuff. Have you been given any like pieces of information that you would want to share?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I think you have to be quite flexible. I think the first year I went, we tried to really plan in advance what we were going to see. And we actually made a spreadsheet of different shows at different times and where we could go. And actually, the best stuff ended up being the thing that somebody gave us free tickets for, or we discovered 10 minutes before it started and we ran into the venue. So I think it helps to do a little bit of research and maybe look out for the things you want to see, but also just be really open to discovering new shows and having conversations with people, because you never know what you're going to stumble on.
Especially with like flyering stuff.
Yeah,
I've never been, but it's just like speaking to everyone about their shows and like what they're doing and stuff like that. That sort of thing. It's just like even if you don't fly, it's sort of interesting what you might come across, like even on social media and stuff like that.
yeah, people have the maddest ways of advertising their shows and walking down Princess Street looking, oh, it's not Princess Street, what is it? The one where everyone flies. You've got people in costumes, you've got people throwing things up in the air. It's a real attack on the senses, but it is fantastic. It all kind of adds to the magic of Edinburgh. And once you tie in what you're seeing on social media as well, the whole festival comes alive.
I know. Even I've still not been. It's on my list to go. Hopefully this year, as I said. But I put out a tweet about a month before, and I got something like 100 people contact me.
Yeah, keen for an interview.
And this was last year, and I've only been running like the blog for about a month. So I was like, I wasn't expecting that. I thought I might get 2 or 3.
Well, I guess people are really keen to talk to anybody about their show, really. You know, people want to get the word out there. And when someone offers you a great opportunity like this, you're going to say, yes, please, talk to me. And I think people work so hard to get to Edinburgh. You know, it's a really financially and emotionally draining thing to do. And you spend a lot of time working on it in a really small group. So the opportunity to talk to somebody outside of that is really nice, actually, to be like, look at this really cool thing that we're doing.
Well, what would you say the most challenging things be? Like with taking the show up to the fringe?
Oh, well, I could say finances, but I imagine everyone says that because it's. I think something I looked at said the average show costs about £13,000 to take, and who's got that sitting around to take a show to Edinburgh? So that's really challenging. But we're doing crowdfunding, we're reaching out to businesses for sponsorship, so we're really working to make that not such an issue. I think for us, one of the challenging things is geography. So Millie, our writer, she's based between Manchester and Bristol, and Akash, our director, he is in Manchester. I'm in Exeter, and our other wonderful cast member, Hannah Teresa, she's in London. So we've really covered all of the UK mostly. So that can be quite tricky. But we're working to do lots of Zoom calls, a few in-person rehearsals. The WhatsApp chat is just constant at the moment. So that's a challenge for us, but we're making it work.
Wow, that just I think wow, I wasn't expecting so many people all over the place.
Yes,
But
we've really spread out quite well.
It's literally, if you look, it sounds like if you look at the bottom half of the UK, you're literally just over like in that direction sort of thing. It's just like wow.
Yeah, we've got southwest, Millie in Bristol, we've got the north of Manchester, and we've got London.
Wow.
We've really, yeah, it's good. Keeps it interesting.
What would you say your top 3 things that you're going to be taking to the Fringe will be? So, like, would it be like some people might think sunglasses,
Oh,
etc.?
okay. Waterproof, and a waterproof that you can compress down in a bag for the times when it's really hot and then when it's tipping it down 5 minutes later. A good pair of shoes that you can walk in are a must. And God, this is so boring. A portable charger. Because you can set out and be like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing with my day and I'll be home by 9. And then at 8:30, someone says, do you want to go and see this cabaret that's tap dance meets mime? And you're like, why not? Let's do that. And so you're suddenly out way later than you expected to be. And a portable charger is very helpful.
That's quite a good idea, actually.
Yeah, I got it the first year I went and I was so pleased that I did, because it just, time moves in a really funny way in Edinburgh. And it's just, you just kind of roll from one show to the next. So you've got to be prepared.
What? So with flyering this year, is there anything that you're going to do that's different? Like I've chatted to people who's like doing beer mats or like stuff like that. Is that...
This is a tricky one, because I think with flyering, people kind of try and reinvent the wheel a lot. People are constantly looking for that new thing. Last year when I went, there was a guy who was doing a show. It was all about a detective, and he would just come into a venue and hand you his business card and say, you know, if you've seen anyone suspicious, give me a call. And on the back of the business card, it had all the information about the show. And I loved that. I thought that was so clever and so unique. And also they were really small, so he didn't have arms full. I think one of the main things we're going to be doing in terms of marketing is working with our kind of network of performers and other people we know who are taking shows up. So we're about to start on social media it's called a Sketchy Saturday. So our show is called Sketchy, and we're going to be, every Saturday we're going to be sharing information about someone else's show and hoping we can build a bit of a community around that, especially in comedy and in sketch, but anyone who's up for it, really, just to share a bit of information about their show, and they'll do the same for us. And hopefully that kind of takes down the competitiveness a little bit by the fact we're saying, you know, we're all going on this journey, we're all putting our lives on pause to go and do this mad thing. Let's support each other. Let's shout out about your amazing show.
That's how I really love that idea, actually, because like you do sort of, there is an ounce of competition, but there isn't at the same time. It's sort of like it's for everybody, really.
Yeah, I think it's really tricky when, you know, you have reviews, you have people throwing out 4 stars and 3 stars, and sometimes you do a show and there's no one there. or you're hearing about your friend and they sold out all of their run before they've even got there. It's a really human reaction to feel competitive about it. So anything we can do to kind of take that away and be supportive to a group of artists who are all trying to achieve the same thing. You know, being in the arts is hard enough. We don't need to add to that. We need to support each other and shout about these amazing things that everyone's doing.
It's a similar thing to like bloggers as well.
Yeah.
Like some are like altogether a bit sort of, let's say, in their own group.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention any names because
Okay.
I do get on with them. So it's like it would open a can of worms. But but
I feel
like
like I'm getting the blogging gossip here. I love it.
it's sort of they're nice people, don't get me wrong, but just like some people like stay close to their acquaintances. With me, I'm just like, oh, I'll chat to everybody. And like where I am, I'm in Margate, in
Okay.
Kent. So I'm the only one up until Canterbury who like I could literally this is sort of my patch. There's
Yeah.
no one else like doing that apart from like the newspapers and so forth. So I'm like, yeah, I've got a. If I play my cards right, I can do this, this, and this, and then like obviously it's nice to go up to London, then hopefully like Edinburgh as well. But it's just sort of you get to like I don't know, it's just sort of it's nice to speak to everybody as well. Like Wednesday there was press night for Mean Girls. I wasn't there, which was a shame. But I get because I know so many of the people, I get to see what everybody else thinks. Like I'm not reviewing it, so I can read reviews, but they also don't sort of what's the way cloud my judgment, so to speak. I think that's
Yeah.
important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like I said, you know, being an artist is really, really challenging at times, and having the kind of the self-belief, and I'm sure it must be the same for you with setting up a blog and really putting yourself out there to do it. It takes a lot of guts. And so just making sure that whatever we do, we're doing with kindness and we're doing with respect for other people in that area, that kind of seems like the least we can do. And trying to market a show is just, the job is never done. I lie in bed at night and I think, well, I could have posted this today. I need to do that social media post. So if we can support each other in doing that, then what a brilliant thing.
Like I'm working on a couple of things, but they probably won't be released until like after Edinburgh Fringe because it's something completely different. Locally.
Yeah.
But even that's a lot of work, like with the budget and stuff like that. So it's not even like I haven't got any venues. Like, well, no, I can't say set.
Don't reveal the secrets.
Let's say it might be a panel version of this sort of thing,
Oh, okay. Sounds very interesting.
but I haven't, like, it hasn't been confirmed or anything like that.
Very interesting. Will you keep us posted?
Yeah, it'll probably be in a couple of months. I just need to get
Okay.
venues on that sort of thing.
Interesting.
And it won't be me host.
I think you'd be an excellent host.
No.
No, okay.
I'm okay talking to people like one on one or like on Zoom. But if I had like a crowd of people like in their seats, I'll be like,
I had to do a talk yesterday to a group of about 50 people. And I was like, this is absolutely fine, not a problem. And then I saw them all in front of me and was like, oh, there's a lot of you. And I had to write down everything. I was like, right, I've got my list, spoke at like 50 miles an hour. I was like, okay, good, job done. Bye, everyone.
It's sort of like you sort of think, oh, like I'm more like technical theatre, but that's what I used to do when I was at school and stuff. So I've never sort of like been there in front of a crowd sort of thing.
Well, Millie, who is our writer, she and I went to drama school together. We both did acting. So I'm quite happy in front of a crowd. That doesn't bother me. It's just, I think when you're a bit out of practice with it, luckily I had a clipboard and that made me feel wonderful because I thought I've got purpose with a clipboard. I know where I'm at. I know I've got a list of things to get through. We'll just go through them.
I did it was so embarrassing. I did an interview about a month ago, and I was like, this was in London, and stupidly I didn't write down any questions. So
tricky.
I was sort of thinking of what to say, and then it was sort of like, okay, I can do this. And I was just like, I need to think of stuff to say on the spot. It was really awkward.
So what was the most random question you asked?
I can't remember now. Like now, I've got literally a document, so I've got questions to ask. And obviously, I don't sort of like just ask the question. I sort of think, okay, is that relevant? Is that relevant? Is that relevant? Can I ask that in a different way? So it's more just so useful having the questions set.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. I find that whenever I've done an interview, when I'm talking about the show, even though it's been my life for like the last however many months, somebody says to me, so where's it on? And I think, I've got no idea. I've got to have it written down. I'm like, who are these people? What are we doing? It's fine. It's fine now. I have it in front of me.
It's always a way, isn't it? It's just like you think, oh, I've got this. It's all fine.
Yeah. You're like, of course I know this. I've been putting this in emails for months. And then someone asks you about it. You're like, I've got no idea. Where's Edinburgh? What is this?
So, going more into theatre, what would you say your most memorable theatre experience has been?
Oh, I saw a production once by an amazing theatre company called Rabble, and they're based in Reading, which is where I grew up. And they were doing a production about Oscar Wilde, and it was performed in Reading Prison.
Oh,
And the audience was set up like the jury for his trial. And he was sitting at the end of the room wearing a mask like he would have done in prison. And you had the moonlight coming through these long windows in the prison, just falling on his face. And it was the combination of beautiful writing and the setting just made the atmosphere incredible. Even my dad, who, despite my best efforts, is not a theatre lover generally, thought it was fantastic. And that's my mark. I'm like, if he can appreciate it, we're onto something special here.
yeah, my dad's got no interest in theatre.
No, every now and then something will get him if it's done outside or if there's a big fight scene. But if he comes out of something really enjoying it, I think, ooh, they got his attention.
But that sounds incredible. That's literally, that sounds like immersive theatre at its best.
Yeah, it was really fantastic. And it was so simply done. You know, nothing was over the top, nothing was exaggerated. It just really brought to life what his experience must have been. And that's really stayed with me. And I've seen some fantastic Edinburgh shows as well. So it's not all Reading, but I've seen some good stuff.
Is there a production that you sort of wish you could have seen, like, say, anywhere in the UK, even London or Reading.
Well, at the moment, I would have liked to have seen Mean Girls. I'm a big musical theatre fan, and my social media is full of it. So I would have liked to have seen that. Oh, apart from that, though, I don't know. I like seeing smaller stuff, kind of people shoved into a room to see something totally unexpected. And I think a lot of those things you might not have heard about, so it's difficult for me to say yes, that particular show. I just tend to think what a brilliant experience it's been to see the things I have seen.
Oh, definitely. Like, as well, we're not going to like everything, but there's
Okay.
going to stuff.
No, there's definitely things that you don't like. But then, you know, even so, even if it's a production you don't love, I still look at the cast and the crew involved and I think, well, you put work into this. You know, you got up and you did this. Good on you.
I saw a production last year. I'm not going to mention what it's called because it was an amateur production, and it's not really that fair. But it wasn't very good. But that wasn't the production's fault. It was because I went with my family, and my family don't know how to behave at this.
Ah, well, there you go. They need training.
I've said so much. I've literally caused arguments, so I don't have to say anything. And because I got distracted, I can sort of see the light, like the I can't think of what they're called, like the error lights and stuff like that
Yeah.
on the lighting. I was
Mhm.
like, that's got that one. So I was just looking at the light. I've got really, but it happens if it's sort of not great.
I think one of the most, I'm not going to use the word bad because the memory of it has given me so much joy over the years. But I saw a production once with my family and we'd gone to this. It was done in the local community. They'd advertised that they were going to have this quite well-known actor perform at the evening, that he was going, I think it was like war poetry and things like that. He was going to perform. And so we thought, why not? This sounds great. We'll go. And it was quite interesting. And then it got to the point that this actor was going to perform, and they got out a cassette player and put on a tape of this actor reading this poem.
Oh wow!
It was yeah.
Wow!
It wasn't great, but I've never seen my mum laugh so much at the fact we'd all been pulled in by this great celebrity encounter, and it was him on a tape.
I think that if that happened now, they'll have to give everybody their money back, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think they would have done. At the time, I think everyone was just a bit too confused to make any kind of comment. But yeah, I don't think it would fly now.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really unexpected.
Yes, it was. It was very unexpected. We spent money on it.
So, if you could go to like a dinner party or meet any like famous people in our industry, who would it be?
Oh, this is tricky. How many am I allowed?
6.
6. Oh my god, I'm going to struggle to think of 6. Okay, I want David Tennant there because he's the best Doctor. I would like Sonia Friedman there, theatre producer, because I think she has produced some amazing things over the years, and I'd like to pick her brains. I would like Phoebe Waller-Bridge there, just as another example of a brilliant woman in the arts. Oh, 6. This is very tricky. Oh, I'd like Millie Thorne, who I'm producing the show with, because I think she would be very helpful to stand with me as I get stressed about the fact I'm in the same room as these people. So that's taken me up to 4. Oh, I don't know about my last 2. Might have to think that over. At the moment, I'm very woman heavy, and I'm okay with that. But David Tennant's really going to have to hold his own in that room.
David Tennant seems like a lovely person.
Yes, I think he is. I had a signed poster for my birthday from him one year.
Oh wow!
And I was very taken by that. Maybe Michaela Cole, the actress, because she's done a lot of moving from comedy into drama, and I think that's a really interesting journey to go on. And number 6, I'd like to be some wonderful benefactor who is going to donate lots of money for me to produce all the things that I want, but I don't know who that is yet. So if anyone's got any suggestions, that would be lovely.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll be right up for funding for me to do some comedy.
Probably not.
Probably not, no.
So going back to your show, because we've not got that long left of this.
Yes, we should probably talk about it.
So what sort of person is going to enjoy your show?
Anyone who wants to come and have a laugh. So the show's at a really great time. It's on at 5:20. So this is the perfect start to your night out at Edinburgh. We're saying start your night right with Sketchy. It's sketch comedy, so it's really short, snappy scenes back to back. So if you're looking for a bit of a giggle, if you really like sketch comedy, if you've never seen any sketch comedy before at all, come and enjoy it. It's nothing that's too heavy, and Edinburgh is full of heavy things. So if you want to go and see someone deeply mourn the loss of their cat, this is not the show for you. If you want to get a drink at the bar and come in and have a laugh and hear talking toothbrushes and argumentative siblings and all of that, then come and see Sketchy.
That's brilliant. And where can people find out about your show? And
so we're on the Ed Fringe website, where you can also buy tickets. Well, should people buy tickets? What a lovely thing to do. And we're also on social media. So we're at thirsty_productions, and we're on X, which still feels weird to call it that. It's Twitter, at Thirsty Pro. But if you Google Sketchy Ed Fringe, you'll find us. You may also find the link to our crowdfunder. So if anyone fancies donating and helping us reach that target, it would be very appreciated.
do you want to send it to me, and I'll retweet it?
Absolutely, thank you. That's good, because I was getting to the point where I was like, I'm going to have to start sending this out to people I went to school with and haven't seen in about 10 years, and that's awkward. I'd like to avoid that.
So, in 3 words, why should people come and see your show?
In 3, God, you're really hitting me with the numbers today. I'm having to think about it a lot. 3 words. Funny, surprising, and then the third one I'm going to throw in there is BAFTA, because we are being directed by a BAFTA winning director.
Oh.
So we are shouting about that because our wonderful director Akash has done a fantastic job. and won a BAFTA for a short film recently, and is now directing our wonderful show. So if you want to see some BAFTA level direction, come and see it.
Sounds amazing. I'm just going to stop the recording because I've got one last question to ask you off the recording.
Oh,